Welcome to the Bitcoin Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Desi and Stefan. Today we have Matteo Pellegrini of Club Orange, formerly known as the Orange Pill app. So welcome, Matteo.
Thanks for
Welcome,
having me.
Matteo.
My pleasure.
Very nice to meet you again.
Great day to stack sats and stack friends.
Absolutely. Matteo, I wanted to thank you because this week I received a notification, an email notification from the Orange Pill app announcing me that there's a meetup coming up next Friday, which now is in the past because this is recorded, next to where I live. So I'm going to go and I'm going to literally stack Orange friends thanks to you. So thank you very much.
My pleasure. Is this your first meetup? I
No,
guess
no,
so.
we in my city there's a it's called Spritz app. Yeah. It's like since 2016, so it's Satoshi Spritz
Italians,
is quite
they're
old.
always drinking, even at the meetup.
I wanted to present you as the master of you can just do things, and I wanted to ask you what your point of view is concerning the fact of doing things yourself as opposed to looking for a job, which is a very standard, let's say, default way of thinking. But if you think about it, it's very fiat minded to look for a job. So what's your position on that relatively to the Orange Pill?
Well, I think, number one, we definitely need people to do a job. Otherwise, people like me could not do anything. Because, at the end of the day, now with AI, it's much easier. You can code a lot by yourself. You can do a lot of things by yourself. But it's, I think it's like a balance in society. You have people that want to take more risk, and then people that want to take less risk. And if you have a society of only people that want to take risk, it's for sure disaster. And if you take a society that is people that never take risk, it's a society that doesn't advance, right? So, for example, I'm Italian, as you know, and I live in the United States. The main reason is, is because in this country, like taking risk is seen as more like a positive thing to do than in my own country. But there needs to be a balance, of course, and I also think it's like some people are just it's something that you're born with. I think it's kind of like a musical talent, or acting, whatever it may be, and you can train and you can push yourself, but I think there is something like biological or psychological that push certain people to just go and go find the limits. Maybe if I was born 500 years ago, I would have been on a ship with Colombo. I don't know. And so, I think there's a lot of nature that plays when it comes to this thing. Is having a job a fear thing? I guess. But I think it's good that people want to have jobs because people that take risk, that want to take more risk, they have people that can, rely upon to do, whatever needs to be done, right?
Interesting.
So,
Yeah. So basically, what
yeah,
we
that's the way
want
I see it.
is for entrepreneurs to have more freer hands relative to regulation, taxation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A big reason of why the social layer of Bitcoin, which we're going to talk about, I believe is very important. Be able to connect instead of just taking that office job that your dad took and was at the company for 40-ish years, you can now become a freelancer, a creative, kind of do a lot of whatever you want. It's kind of just limited to you thanks to the internet.
Yeah, the internet obviously have opened up a lot of push. All of my business that I had in my life, all of them are like internet-based business. The internet obviously disintermediate the creator and the end user, right? You don't need to go on CNN anymore. You can just go on YouTube and have a channel, or you don't need to go on a Broadway show. You can just make your own show with your camera and push it on YouTube or whatever other platform there is. music, Spotify, right? You can create a music and put it on Spotify, and 10 million people can listen the next day. It used to be you have to get a record label and an agent and that kind of stuff. Yeah, there's definitely way more opportunities than 20, 30 years ago, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because internet is like you describe by itself, but on top of that now, if you think about Nostr in your Instagram, for example, but on Nostr you can literally do that, and then the network effect will fix this. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
really merit based, and of course, I guess marketing based as well, because having a good product is good, but you need good marketing, and we like to do that at the Bitfluencers. So helping Bitcoin only companies get visibility for their products and services.
My story is like, I started my first business at 19 with one of my friend. We were buying clothing on Alibaba. That was 2004, so that's a long time ago, and selling on eBay. And then I moved to London trying to be a musician. Then I opened a shipping company, Spedio.com, which I guess to date is probably my most successful company. Sold that in 2012. I kind of tried to build Uber before Uber, also with no money, so it didn't work. I moved to New York. In New York, I had an indoor delivering app. Ended up working with one of the biggest theater agents in New York called Schubert, for people that go to the theater and then they want to order the food at the intermission without doing the lines. That kind of work, but not as much as I thought. And then actually got a job. I got a job in 2018 selling cars, which was a lot of fun for me. So I had a job. The only job I had in my life essentially was 2018 to kind of COVID 2020. Selling cars, what I've learned a lot of lessons, obviously, and that's one of the things that then I brought with me for Club Orange was the fact that people like to pay, unlike what everybody thinks. People like to pay. So the story is that I was selling cars, and then at some point, one of my managers said, "Well, everybody can sell cars with a discount, but if you're really good, you should sell car full price," which is like, how is that even possible, right? Everybody wants a discount when they go buy car. Then eventually, I found a way to sell car full price. And what I've noticed is, you know, the um, the customers that bought cars from me, the one that I gave the best discount, they were always the one that complained the most. So I noticed that the people that bought the car full price were the happiest customer I ever had. One of those people is one of my best friends now in LA, and then I start thinking, why is that the case? And the reason is because if the people that I give the best discount, they went home and they thought to themselves, "Oh, I could have got a better discount." So they never have the people that we didn't even talk about discounts. They went home. There was no negotiation. There was no back and forth. It was very linear process. And so then I took that lesson and I applied to Club Orange, which used to be Orange Club, and that's why we charge everybody. There is no free trials. We never had a free trials in Orange Club, and because I knew that when people pay for something, they value more than if you give it for free or for a discount. So that's kind of counterintuitive a little bit. But then anyway, so I sold cars for 2 years. Then COVID hit. Took a little break from working. I was Bitcoin Maxi almost back then. And then in 2021, I went to my first conference in Miami. And then I came back to LA and I said, okay, let's go find Bitcoiners in LA, right? Like the conference was such a great experience. So I went to a meetup and I went to this meetup and like everybody was like in NFT, like shit coins. And so I told them, yeah, I told them, I thought this was a Bitcoin meetup. So as I'm driving back home, I'm thinking to myself, there's got to be another way to find local Bitcoiners, right? Well, there wasn't one because, on Twitter, people don't say where they are. And so eventually I ended up with the idea of like a mobile app with the geolocation, which is approximate, so it's like very generic. But at least we know if you're in Los Angeles or in New York or Miami or London, whatever, And so then profiles, chats. Now we have now we have events, we have merchants, there is a wallet, there's a lot of stuff that we built since then. And, we have 19,000 members all over the world. I mean, literally, like, name the country, there's somebody on the app. I don't even know how they found out about the app. And so that's kind of the story, that's kind of my trajectory.
How was that process of, you know what? I am just going to build this. Why not? I tried this one other thing, this one Uber project. I could do this.
It's honestly, it's like to be an entrepreneur, you have to be delusional, essentially. You have to think that I'm going to build it, even though I have no experience in social network. We built some apps before. So, I have my team of developers. So I know we could build the app, but then, we charge everybody. There's never been a social network that started with a paywall. So, it's you have to believe that my reasoning was like, I would use this thing. So literally, I built this for me, essentially. And then if it works for others, good. If it just works for me, like only in LA, at least I've solved my own problem, right? And I think that's probably the biggest lesson that I would tell other entrepreneur founders is like, it's easier if you build something for yourself than if you build something for people that you don't even know what they think, what they want. Like if I was building an app for accountants, I mean, I can build the app, but I'm not an accountant. So I don't know the needs of the accountant or of the world. So it's much easier when you build something for you. And then, thankfully, turns out there's like thousands of people around the world that had my same
Every time
problem,
I hear about
and they're
Orange
using
Pill
the app,
app,
and somebody got
it seems
married.
like it's
I don't
turning
know if you know
into more
if
of
you
a
know that
that's
somebody got
the
married to the
reputation
app.
it has right now.
Well, there was a joke. There was a joke at the beginning. Definitely not a dating app. It's not a dating app, but you can use it to find friends, girlfriend, boyfriend, business partner, whatever. It's a social network, right? So humans, when you put them together, somebody's gonna go date, somebody's gonna go for on the beach, somebody's gonna build a business. That's what's kind of beautiful about this cities, because it's very small, it's very tight knit, and so people want to help each other, right? So I think that's why work is, because Bitcoin max in the world. Maybe there's a million. Yeah, there's not enough Bitcoin max in the world, but every day grows, right? There's more and more every day, every week, every month, right? Somebody read the book, somebody go to a conference, somebody found the podcast. Maybe this podcast is gonna orange pill somebody. And so it's a growing community. It's very small and it's very high value. So when you have this strong value, you want to spend time with people that have the same values.
We have these dividing debates. So, how is Orange Pill app addressing that, especially with what's going on right now?
Well, we don't police, we don't police speech on the app. People want to debate core versus not. I mean, there's 3 rules that get you banned from the app. One is obviously scamming, obviously zero tolerance on that. 2 is spamming. It's like if you're promoting too much. I mean, it's okay to promote your product, your point, whatever it is, but just try to be respectful. And the third is like shit coining. Like it's okay if you have other coins. We understand that, but just don't promote it. But that's really the only 3 reasons that sometimes, unfortunately, we have to ban people. But the debates, I think they're healthy. If you don't debate, you don't have. You can't find the right path forward if you don't allow both sides to kind of like, so if you look at the reviews on the App Store, it's like, honestly, they look fake. Like I wrote them myself. They're like very, very positive. That's kind of the best metric for us. Connections, sometimes people that they want to connect with people locally, which is kind of the goal of the app. But sometimes people just want to talk to other Bitcoiners all across the world, learn from other country. Like, the experience is very different from like Americans and Europeans and Asians and it's, Bitcoin, it's not one thing. It's many things, depends on who you are, right? And so there is a lot of like global kind of communication as well.
Explain a little bit about that, about your growth over the past couple of years.
It's again, we have users almost any country, even in North Korea. I'm not joking. You
Oh,
can, I
really?
don't know how. Yeah. I don't know how
Wow.
they download the app. If you go, so we had this thing in the wallet called geozapping. You can type a country and you can send zap to people in that country or city. We won't tell you the names of the username, we just tell you the number. So the other day I was joking with an investor. I was like, yeah, we have users everywhere. And I was like, oh, and then we were trying to find a place where we didn't have any user. And it's like, okay, what about North Korea? So then I go and type North Korea, and I think it's like five user. So,
Great.
yeah, no, it's very crazy. And maybe even Iran, I don't know. Like the app is not even available in the App Store. They must download to the APK, like on Android, you can download. Anyway, but yeah, so we have users everywhere. But the top three countries, if that's what you're asking me, is the United States, of course, Canada, maybe per capita is number one. A small country, but a lot of Bitcoiners up there. And also think because people are like very far from each other, they looking for connections more than maybe people in London, right? Because you just bump into people all day long. So it's US, Canada, United Kingdom, Switzerland is really good, Netherlands, Germany. Actually, Germany, I think they have a lot of meetups up there. A lot of
So
meetups.
basically, it's a bit chat that people actually use.
Yeah, well, it's a different product, but yeah, it's those are the countries, and then Philippines also really good. Philippines really good. Asia, not that much, but Australia, it's a good community. So those are kind of the countries where we see more growth than other countries.
You mentioned users have actually
There you go.
gotten married
Thank you.
off of this app. Can you give, let's say, the first story that you heard of, and how did you feel that you brought two people together?
Well, it's interesting because I know the girl. I met her in real life. I never met the husband, and now they got married. Yeah, and now they're having a baby. So I hope they call him. I hope they call him Matteo. I don't know. Uh, but it's funny because basically, sorry. Yeah, something.
Sounds pretty good.
So in a way, I'm responsible for somebody. I don't know. I don't know if you want to put it that way. Or maybe they would have met anyway. Who knows, right? But yeah, this was like a few months after we launched. It was like we had maybe 1,000 members only, and and yeah, they got married, but they didn't invite me, so that
That
doesn't count.
OP
Exactly.
OGs.
Oh,
No, they didn't
Okay,
invite me. It's okay. Next
does Orange Pill app have a feature where people are sharing these individual stories? Or is that something that you've considered besides the reviews, right?
You mean like a feed where you post the
Right.
Yeah, we have reviews. No, we don't have a feed. We don't have a feed because the goal of the app is to actually go offline, not stay online. So the feed, it's the most addictive features ever. You scroll, right? Like, so we will never have a feed, no matter how many times people ask me to build the feed, because it kind of goes against it's kind of like you have a gym and then you sell ice cream. Doesn't make much sense, right? So it's always like a tempting to introduce distraction in your product. When you build something, you always have to remember what is the goal? What are the people, in our case, they're not paying us to spend more time online. They're paying us because they feel lonely in their life and they want to find people to, become friends. And so, you have to keep going in that direction and build only things that achieve that goal. Kind of like the North Star. And so in a way, this is
Mm-hmm.
it's a good parallel with Bitcoin now and this core theory, like what Bitcoin is money. It's not art gallery. Now, some people think it's an art gallery, so they have inscription and ordinals, and that's kind of like, it's easy to be tempted to say, okay, this is so successful. Let's do other stuff on top of this. And that's when you start losing your way, and you start, like making the point, right? Like if you're building money, just keep building, make money better, not make other stuff. And so that's, I think, is very useful for people that build stuff.
This is a really nice paradox. It's an online tool, yeah, that brings people offline. And this is what's gonna happen to me next Friday. I'm gonna be offline thanks to you, because with Twitter or even Nostra, I mean, we really tend objectively to spend too much time online. I think that is
Trust
not
me.
very sound in general. So, and we like to
Yeah, it's
touch
not good
grass
for
too,
you.
right?
I think, especially with AI now, AI is becoming more and more, good at creating content. The internet is going to be flooded by this fake AI content. Like I use Sora. Sora is like now you can make, like, I'm addicted already to this thing. Like you can make a video of your face, record your voice, and then you can put yourself. I don't know if you saw my videos on
Yeah,
X.
yeah, so a couple of them, and maybe we can share them. See?
So I made actually a story of Orange Club, how I created the app, like me going to the conference. It's so good, right? But at the end of the day, it's like it's more fakeness. Do
Showing
but
Matteo. You could, can you see the screen now?
yeah, yeah.
Let's see.
You should try to find the. You should try to find the. Sorry, I didn't pay for what? Sorry. No, I do. I pretty sure I do. Why?
Sora is it exclusively on a fee based, or
No, I think you have to have an account. I don't know. I have so many
yeah,
accounts. I don't even know. But
yeah, yeah.
you
I
should
heard
find the
that.
one. You should find the one that I tell the story of Orange Bola. I think it's pretty funny. I laugh so much when I build that.
Several people talking about the addictiveness of Sora, which is really concerning because we're
Yeah,
really super addicted to social media in general. So now this another layer of addictivity. So this is quite concerning.
yeah, exactly.
So let's stack orange friends in meetups instead.
Yes, that's better.
So, what is next? You've rebranded, you've changed the name.
Yeah, it's Club Orange. Well, Orange Pilap had some issues with the names. It's three words that, like, it's very long. Also, it was misspelled all the time. Yeah, yeah. Peel, like P-E-L, peeled, P-I-L-L-E-D. And then even up, Orange Peel up at the end. Even up was misspelled as U-P, like up. So, so that's,
A pile, like
yeah,
when you stack friends, you have a pile of friends. It's
yeah, yeah.
orange pile up.
Yeah, exactly. So no, we started thinking about a new name, which is obviously not easy at all. But eventually, we landed on Club Orange, which was available. It's what we do. Is a club, right? It's a club of people that are orange, that are like into Bitcoin, and it's you cannot misspell Club Orange. Like in Spanish, is club, in Italian, is club, and everybody knows how to write club. And also, it's kind of two words, right? So it's less words and it's less letters. And also it kind of give a vibe immediately of what we do. Okay, it's a club, Orange. Instead of like Orange Pill Up is an app for orange peeling. It's yeah, we're excited to see what's the reaction of the Bitcoin. Somebody's gonna get upset because they get attached to a name, but takes time, like X and Twitter, right? But
Right.
eventually, I think it's a better name.
What about the logo? I love the logo. Is it going to be a pill still or not?
Well, the logo, it's interesting logo. It's kind of like we spend so much time and mind trying to find a good logo, but it's basically like an orange with the peels, but then one is missing because the one is missing is you. You
Yeah.
Mhm.
are the missing piece of the club.
I
So
like that.
it's open. The club is not closed. It's open for you to join, right? So that's the logo.
Nice. We still don't know, but by the time the podcast is released, we will know.
Yes, 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 yes.
Nice.
Anything else that you would like to add or announce?
Well, I can tell you the next big thing we're building is the ticketing platform on Club Orange. Be able to buy tickets for a conference straight from the app now. So you can literally buy a ticket with one click. And at some point, you're going to be able to even resell the ticket if you cannot attend. It's going to be kind of like a marketplace. So you can buy tickets, you can resell tickets. It's going to take a while, but that's kind of like the next big product. And then maybe, I'm not sure yet, and I have this half idea of actually having physical Club Orange in Miami, New York, like a place where you go, kind of like Pub Key or Bitcoin Park, or there used to be this Bitcoin Embassy. I think there was one in London, right? Like a physical place. I think that's maybe like our final destination, is like having physical clubs, which is also why the new name is much better, in the biggest cities of Bitcoiners around the world. But I'm still debating that idea.
You should make the password Orange Pill app. So
Yeah.
it can bring you back. Like, oh, I remember the days when it was Orange Pill app. Bitcoiners were very nostalgic.
It's gonna be like Twitter. These will go on like OPA, Orange Peel app, and
By the way, that's the other problem, is that people would abbreviate OPA, but if you search OPA, you can never find it. Nothing shows up, right?
Yeah, of course.
So that's also another problem with the. So having a long name, then people will start abbreviate it, and then your brand is like, screwed, because then they go on Google OPA and nothing comes up.
One more question. What do you like to do in the real world? Hobbies?
I mean, I don't have many hobbies because I have young kids, and I have Club Orange that keeps me very busy. I do have a meetup every Saturday morning, 9 a.m., which is kind of early. Somehow people come from like an hour away. That's very interesting. In Los Angeles, in Santa Monica.
Nice.
So that's kind of my hobby is going to the meetup, essentially. But I like to play the piano. There's a piano here. Play the piano, play soccer, watch soccer. That's kind of my other hobby. But yeah, I'm very busy with the family and the business.
Awesome. Well, now we know. Go to Matteo's meetup in LA at 9 a.m. He's going to bring coffee.
Exactly.
Monica.
Yeah. It's Italian place, obviously.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Matteo.
Thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So go Club Orange.